Hey everybody, it's Joe Dellera. Welcome back to another edition of Daily Action Picks, our props edition. And I've got 3 props for today's massive NBA slate. These are the picks. The first pick that I'm gonna be looking at is Donovan Mitchell over 26.5 points. He's a 3-point machine, we know this. He's a scoring aficionado. And I prefer his points in this matchup despite the good 3-point matchup with Chicago, and here's why. He dropped 30 points against the Bulls earlier this season, and he did that while only shooting 2 of 11 from 3-point range. You know, he's a far better 3-point shooter than this, but 4 threes is still a lot, and he's shooting 35.2% from 3 on about 10 attempts per game. So he should get his looks here, and I think that should complement the rest of his game. But the thing here is, you know, the Bulls, they struggle to defend that 3-point line. They have the 5th worst 3-point percentage allowed. And while they do a pretty good job of limiting those attempts, you know, the Jazz overall, they shoot a lot of threes. Mitchell's gonna shoot a lot of threes. I don't necessarily think that they're capable of stopping him. And this is always an opportunity that Mitchell could go off and he makes 4, 5, 6. But I definitely think that he should be a little bit more efficient from 3-point range coming off a 2 of 11 game against them earlier this season. And look, the thing is, the Bulls' adjusted defensive rating as a whole, they're 21st in the league. And they've gotten a little bit better over the past couple weeks, but they're still just in 15th. So I'm not really impressed by their defense. I think this is a spot that Mitchell's going to be able to excel, and I'm going to take him to go over his points prop at 26.5 points. The next player that I'm looking at is Harrison Barnes. Harrison Barnes has been really quietly cooking for the Kings, actually. His point total is set at over under 16.5 points. This is a line he's actually gone over in 7 of his last 10 games. And even though he just had a down night against Chicago, I think this is a good bounce back spot. And I get that that sounds kind of weird against Milwaukee, but he already scored 29 points against the Bucks this season. And he's a pretty effective field goal shooter. He's averaging 17.1 points per game on the season, and he's shooting 47.2% from the field and 41.5% from 3-point range. Those are excellent numbers. And by having this multifaceted weaponry of ways that he can attack you, the Bucks, you know, they allow the 2nd highest frequency of 3-pointers in the league, along with a ton of mid-range attempts. And those are both areas that Barnes excels and shoots above league average from. So if we look at this too in terms of history, over the past 3 seasons, Barnes has played the Bucks 4 times, and he's gone over the 16.5 point line in 3 of those. So I'm going to be taking Harrison Barnes to go over 16.5 points, game that should feature 2 teams that are playing at a relatively fast pace, both top 10 marks in the league. For my final bet, I'm going to be looking at Tyrese Maxey. We've talked a lot about Tyrese Maxey and the Philadelphia 76ers and how James Harden has impacted his game, impacted this offense. And one of the things that's interesting is Maxey scoring more points per game with James Harden, but he's actually doing it on about 1 fewer field goal attempt. But either way, this line is just a little too low because it's 16.5. It's a number he's cleared in 8 of his last 10 games. And he's averaging 19.6 points with Harden compared to 16.9 without him. But either way, he's over this total in terms of his average number and his average output. Harden, he really opens up better looks for Maxey, and I'm much, much less worried about this Cavaliers defense without Jarrett Allen. They've got 1 less stopper, 1 less rim protector, and their defense, it's really fallen off a bit over the past couple weeks, and they're 20th in the league over the last 2 weeks compared to 5th, a top 5 mark on the season overall. So I like Tyrese Maxey to go over his points prop at 16.5. So everybody, those are my 3 best player prop bets for today's massive NBA slate. Let me know if you're riding it. Let me know if you're following. Hit me up in the comments if you have any questions. Check it out. Turn on the Action app notifications. Follow me on Twitter at Joe Dellera. We can have a conversation about why we like these picks some more, or maybe why you don't like them. And tune in every day for more free daily action picks.